Yo, what is going on YouTube? This is Moonwatch Fanatic coming at you with another video review. Today, I'll be going over my thoughts on this classic Omega Speedmaster Hesalite version with the 1861 movement. Now, this watch was lent in by my very good friend and fellow watch addict J Truth. He also has a channel on YouTube, and I suggest you go and check him out because he has plenty of content to be published, and it's always good to see another person's viewpoint when you're researching on your next watch. Also, I want to thank another good friend of mine who is featured on this video, Sam Goody the One. He makes some sick beats, and I asked him if I could use this track in the background, so thank you, Sam. Here it is on full volume while I play some B-roll of this watch. Also, feel free to go check his channel out as well for more killer beats. Taking a look at this watch, let me just lay out the specs real quick here. This Hesalite version comes in a 42mm case diameter, 20mm lug width, 14.2 thick with a 48mm lug to lug. However, when you factor in the male end links, I get a measured 53.8mm end to end. That's pretty substantial for my wrist size. The movement inside is the 1861 that has since been upgraded to the 3861 in the current outgoing Speedmaster Professional. This 1861 has a 48-hour power reserve, 18 joules, 50-meter water resistant, and vibrates at 21,600 vibrations per hour. In other words, 6 ticks per second. Now, like I've mentioned in my Hamilton video, I'm not much of a chronograph guy. I think the legibility always gets reduced by the cluttering of the subdials. I think the timers on the subdials are useless and hard to read, but if I were ever to add a chronograph, it would be this Moonwatch. First off, the subdials are the same color as the main dial, so it pretty much blends in. Also, the hour and minute hands are thin enough so that it doesn't take up too much real estate when it's positioned over one of the subdials. And the contrast is perfect by just simply being black and white. And to top it off, the lyre lugs that Omega is known for is just a work of art. I mean, just take a moment to admire those twisted lugs, especially from the side. And I think all those design choices made this a very popular watch, and let's not forget about the historical reference of this watch going to the moon. I mean, how can we forget? Omega reminds us every freaking day. So having wearing this watch on my 6.5-inch wrist for a few weeks, I immediately felt the large presence of that long end link to end link measurement. You already see the gaps when it's resting on my wrist, which isn't visually pleasing, and furthermore, when the watch is resting on the 12 o'clock down position and I rotate my wrist to glance at the dial, you can't help but notice that massive overhang with that male end link. It may not capture it well on camera, but trust me, it sticks out like a sore thumb in person. Needless to say, these issues do not help with the ergonomics for my skinny wrist size and shape. Bigger wrist-sized watch addicts need not apply here. I also felt the clasp could have been designed better. It only has 2 micro adjustments in the system, and for a large wearing watch, the clasp seems to be short and stumpy, but maybe that's just me. Here it is compared to my Seamaster's clasp. The Moonwatch just looks insignificant here. It may seem like I'm bashing the Speedy relentlessly, but it really is just a bracelet that I have an issue with. However, the good news is that the outgoing model with the 3861 movement has a bracelet that is miles better than this one. I went to try the Sapphire Sandwich at the AD, and the bracelet seemed to just melt around my wrist. The lug to lug length will be true to size because it now comes with female end links, and the clasp, although it still comes with only 2 micro adjustments, looks and feels more refined. But back to this Hesalite version. The dial is obviously an instant classic, and if you're in the market for one, it won't be a bad decision adding it to your collection. The Moonwatch, although it started off as a racing watch, makes you feel like you're carrying a piece of history with you. To be able to point to your wrist and say that this watch was the first watch to ever land on the moon, that's gold marketing, and I don't blame Omega for advertising the heck out of this fact. If you're looking to buy a chronograph, this one checks all of the boxes, I think, and it should be at the top of your list. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, take care everyone.